So I made up my mind. I even told my son, I said, I'm going to go there. I'm going to Pakistan. So before I knew how I was getting there, who I was going with, any details, I knew I was going. And I'm one of those kind of people that decides to do something and then figures out if I should or can't. Like most people, they look at something like, can I do this? Should I do this? Maybe not, but I don't even do that. I just say, I'm going. And then I figure out the whole thing after that. So the first thing I did was literally minutes from seeing it on the news all over every channel, I called the Pakistan embassy. I just Googled the number. And I said, hey, I'm a disaster relief logistics person. I just came back from Katrina. I just came back from tsunami. I was at 9/11. If you need a logistics person on any team, I'd love to volunteer. I don't need any money. I just want to volunteer. And he says, well, there is a group of Pakistani American doctors that are going. And you might want to call them. Here's their number. So I called them, and sure enough, they had this big, mission going. APNA, the Association
your
of
first contact with APNA.
Yes, the Association of Physicians of Pakistani descent of North America, and the Islamic Medical Association of North America were doing a mission with Pakistan Medical Association to bring doctors. So I joined up with the coordinator there and joined the group and got our tickets and our everything and went to Pakistan on a plane, and that was my first taste of even Pakistani Americans or Pakistanis or even Muslims. Before that moment, really, whatever I'd heard about Muslims or Pakistan was only from Fox News and CNN, and none of it was ever good, right? But by that time, I'd already had from 9/11 to seeing some other things go on in the United States with a friend of mine who was persecuted by a prosecutor named Elliot Spitzer, who later became the governor of New York and then was kicked out for corruption. He went after my friend unjustly. I saw that happen. So little by little, I started to not trust our government system like I'd always trusted them before. I always thought, wave the flag, America, they can do no wrong. Israel, is great, and why is everybody picking on them? And America. So that's how I was, and that's all I'd ever been exposed to. So I didn't hate Muslims, but I also didn't really know any, and I had never had Pakistani food. I didn't know the culture. So these Pakistani American doctors were the first of Pakistan, and then going on this disaster. So when I got on the plane, I'm thinking to myself, how will I even talk to people there? And I land in the plane in Pakistan. It's in the middle of the night. It's like 3:00 in the morning, and our flight on the helicopter wasn't scheduled till like 6 at first light or something. Yeah. So I'm at the plane, and these two guys come up in uniforms, and I got another guy named Jim to come with me who'd worked with me at Hurricane Katrina. He was an ex-Marine. I asked so many people to come with me and be a part of this, and they all said, "You're going to Pakistan." They're like, "You're going to Pakistan? They're going to kill you there."
And this is when it was really bad, 2005, the Taliban. And all
some of that was there still. And so they were like, after 9/11, it was a real fever pitch for a few years of negative feelings and even hatred for Muslims and Pakistan and all that. So a lot of them that I worked with were like, you're going into the belly of the beast. They're going to kill you. You're going to go there and you're not going to come back. So, get all your affairs.
Chopped up pieces.
Yeah, they're going to come back in pieces. So, basically manage all your affairs, and write your
will and everything.
Yeah. So, it was like that. And one guy said to me that, in fact, he was a brigadier general in the New York National Guard. He said to me, I think his name was Sid Baumgarten or something, Baumgartner. He said, you're just going to go over there and you're going to help a bunch of kids. And those kids are going to grow up in 18, 20 years. They're going to come, the ones that you helped, they're going to come and hit us again, right? Yeah. They're going to come hit us again. And he goes, so you shouldn't go. But, I kept saying to myself, I don't trust our government and our media because I've already seen, this Iraq war and all these things. Like something's wrong with the messages we're getting in the media. Something doesn't feel right. So I already had that feeling. And I thought, wow, what better way to confirm if Pakistanis are such horrible people than to go there because of this earthquake and see for myself. And
how bad it really
forget
is.
About Fox News. Let me go myself and see. So I went there, and so I get off the plane and I'm thinking I'm going to have a really tough time talking to anyone there. And I'm going to be in this place that probably looks like a desert and, maybe behind every tree, look and see if Osama bin Laden's lookalike is there waiting for me to hit me with a AK-47. And of course, it was nothing like that. Islamabad is a beautiful city. Nothing like what you think about. Nothing like what they show you on that show 24, garbage show. But anyway, we can get into all that. But basically, I come down the airplane on the tarmac, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hello, Todd, we've been waiting for you," in this accent that was better English than any American ever could think about speaking. Because we've destroyed the English language, right? Americans have torn it apart. We can't even speak our own language properly. Ask any Brit. So this guy is like talking to me, and I'm thinking, this guy is amazing. I mean, like he's
he knows my name.
Well, I knew who we were going to go. They told me that we were going to be meeting some delegations, So when they came up to me and said my name, that didn't surprise me as much as his accent and his demeanor and the way that he greeted me and the warmth and the hospitality. And his name was Eitazaz Essen. Senator Eitazaz Essen.
Yeah.
So,
Met him. Yeah,
very dignified human being, lawyer and everything. So he took me to his house. Him and his wife Bushra fed me my first Pakistani meal. And I was like, oh my God, it's been 39 years of my life and I've never had this food. Now I know why the British tried to come here and take everything over. So I knew very little about Pakistan. So we get on the US Chinook double rotor helicopter. We get up there in the morning. We land in this devastated place. You could see death everywhere. You could see people with broken limbs and children hurt, and the doctors that I came with. We had unloaded all of our supplies, and it was like just a mountain of medicines and supplies that they dropped off. And so I started organizing it. But when I was getting off the helicopter, this young lieutenant in the Pakistan Army said, "Sir, may I take your bags?" Again, a young guy in a perfect British kind of almost dignified accent, not like in America, right? And so I was just blown away by this. And right there, just that alone, I said, there's something different about this place that most Americans would never think, they would never expect. So I was watching very carefully and seeing everything. And I met a lot of people, volunteers that came from Karachi. There was Pakistani doctors from all over the world that lived in other countries, UK and whatnot. And there was also some Goras that came with the groups and stuff. And I was just, it was really sad. You saw a lot of children hurting, and I was really busy trying to organize all the supplies. And I would go back on the helicopter and get more medicines and go back and forth, get all the supplies, get fuel for them, work with the Army. I had a Thuraya satellite phone. So I was a very popular guy because I was the only guy.
With a phone.
Yeah. So
with a working phone.
The Army had a communications network already set up, but almost nobody else that came had the satellite phone because you couldn't get signals up there. Yeah. People's regular cell phones just didn't work. So I was taking care of all those things, down to the tents and blankets and food and everything. And so we started working with the Army. They had a camp there at Gary du Patah, which is this boys' college that was totally destroyed. And they were using the cricket field, the football field for the helicopters. And we had our big green hospital tent with the operation theater in it. We had it set up there. So for the first few days, me and my partner Jim were just organizing medicines. Okay, here's where antibiotics go. Here's a box for pain medication. Here's injectables. Here's syrups. Here's this, here's that, right? So we started getting everything organized within a few days. And then it started rolling along real good. We were there for about 2 weeks. That team came for 2 weeks, and then they were getting ready to go back after 2 weeks. But we were seeing 600-700 patients a day. It was crazy. And even after 2 weeks, we still were getting people that had been so far away and had walked down and terrible injuries and gangrene and people suffering that had been suffering for a couple weeks, and so it was just an overwhelming experience. But at the same time, these mountains are so beautiful. The people were so beautiful and so appreciative and so hospitable, and the children and I was overwhelmed with Pakistan. And the food was, even a simple chicken fry with roti was like, I've gone to New York and dined in 5-star restaurants and didn't enjoy the food like this.
Wow, as you say, Zabardast, huh?